We're bringing you Natchez Renewal Radio right here, 97.7 The Beat, NatchezRadio.com. Right here in the studio at 20 East Franklin Street, we got the mayor, the one, the only, Mayor Dan Gibson. Good evening, sir.
Hello there, Mr. Leon, and hello all you listeners out there listening to 97.7 The Beat.
There you
It's
go.
good to be back with you. I missed you last week, and also good to have folks on Facebook watching. Mr. Leon, I really appreciate this time that this radio station gives us all the time to come in and communicate with the great people of Natchez.
That's because we love Natchez. We are Natchez.
I mean, what's not to love,
There
right?
you go.
What's not to
That's
love?
it.
Especially now that we're getting into that fall time of the year. I know it's still getting a little warm out there, but nothing like it was. And you can't say anything about our beautiful evenings, these gorgeous mornings we've been having.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some updates, and I did not want to miss, so we came a little early because tonight at 6 o'clock we'll have our board meeting. Anyone who wants to watch it, it will be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube on our social media platforms. And I wanted to come on here tonight because I was not here last week. I was in Baton Rouge at the meeting of the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. I was there with mayors from Gretna all the way up the river. We had the new mayor of Memphis there, the mayor of Baton Rouge, the mayor of New Orleans, the mayor of St. Louis, and all of these wonderful cities and towns in between. It was really impressive.
Okay.
Now next week I can't be here because we'll be having National Night Out next Tuesday, and we encourage folks to get outside, enjoy what's to come. I believe there's going to be an event. We'll have more announcements on that soon. I don't have that information with me, but as always, law enforcement will be riding through the neighborhoods and doing a shout out to everyone working to keep Natchez safe.
Okay.
So
now, in the mayor's meetings that you were at, did you give a good showing?
Let me tell you something. First of all, a week ago, right about now, I was getting ready to pitch Natchez as the site of the 2026 meeting of the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. And we will be celebrating a patriotic celebration here, having this great organization meet in the oldest city on the river, to ring in that wonderful celebration, the 250th birthday of our country. So also last week I was then able to introduce to the group a wonderful lady named Rosie Rios. And you may not know her, but if you look at your dollar bill, your $20 bill, if you got a Ben Franklin, chances are she signed it because her signature is on over 1 trillion in U.S. currency during her time as the treasurer of the United States for President Barack Obama. And this lady is from San Francisco, used to manage a $25 billion portfolio in San Francisco before she went to work for the federal government as the treasurer of the United States. And she's my age. I was there with my wife Marla. I said, man, what have I been doing? Look at this lady. Golly, she was treasurer of the United States over 10 years ago.
Well,
and you got to love it when you get to meet folks like that.
That's right. Some of us got it, some of us don't, you know.
And she, I think, can't wait to come to Natchez in 2026. We also, while we were there in Baton Rouge, we were able to sign an accord that is going all the way up to D.C. on behalf of all these cities and towns, because we are dealing with drought conditions. And do you realize that the drought we had 22-23 had a $26 billion, that's with a B, price tag to our cities and towns in lost revenue to the farmers because they couldn't get their produce to market, because ports were inaccessible because of low water conditions. And during that low water, there were 20 million people dealing with compromised drinking water.
Wow.
Of the over 100 cities on the Mississippi River, 50 of them get their drinking water from the river. Now, we don't here in Natchez,
no.
But for those who do, like Gretna, for example, the southernmost city, they were fighting saltwater intrusion. Can you imagine what happens when the salt water backwashes into the river because the current's not strong enough to fight it, and then it gets into the city's drinking water and begins corroding all of the city's drinking water infrastructure? We're talking millions of dollars of damage, potential damage there. Fortunately, they were able to contain it. So we also are speaking in unison to have federal recognition of all the ports to improve commerce along the river, and also especially to link ports in the Corn Belt, which is up around St. Louis, with ports in Louisiana, because over 60% of the grain that leaves this country to feed the world comes right through that corridor.
Wow.
You know, the Mississippi River corridor drains 1/3 of the North American continent, including everything between the Appalachian Ridge and the Rocky Mountain Ridge.
Wow.
And if we don't take care of that river, we are really doing ourselves a disservice, and especially to the children and future generations to come. I want to get off that soapbox now for a minute. Mr. Leon, I want to share some information that is very concerning to me that we are going to deal with in our meeting tonight. I just came from City Hall, where we were meeting with a company that we asked to come in and do some analytics in some of our school zones.
Okay.
And they set up a computerized monitor last week in the area around McLaurin Elementary School, right there on Sergeant Prentice, right across from Home Hardware. This monitored during the past week how many drivers exceeded the 35 mile per hour school zone speed limit during those school hours. Do you know how many?
I'm afraid to say.
As a percentage, 95%.
Oh.
95% of the motorists going through Sergeant Prentice last week exceeded the 35 mile per hour speed limit. Well, okay, 1 mile, 5 miles, maybe even up to 8, 10 miles. The vast majority of these actually, well, let me put it this way, 38% exceeded by between 10 and 14 miles per hour, and 22% exceeded it from anywhere from 15 to 44 miles per hour. We actually had cars in a 35 mile per hour speed zone that were doing 80 or more. And this is with children present. These are during the school zone time periods, just an hour or so in the morning and in the afternoon. We have a real problem in that can't find a crossing guard willing to work McLaurin anymore. The one that just retired actually had gotten hit by a vehicle just a couple years ago, luckily recovered, but you remember when that happened. So what we are doing is we're about to look at doing something Hattiesburg is doing, just a few other cities. We'll be one of the very first cities to do this in our state, but that is to begin using a new technology. And I want this to be a warning to everyone. I expect this to pass tonight, where we are going to start using a radar gun that is also a camera. It records the motorist, it clocks their speed, and it's actually using not radar technology, but the latest technology, which is laser technology. So it clocks the speed, it gets a video, it captures the tag. The officer then goes back to the station, reviews the video on computer, determines whether or not to send that ticket by mail to the owner of that car.
Wow.
Now, if the person says, well, so-and-so borrowed my car, they'll have to go to court and contest it. But by and large, we hope that this is going to allow us to have a serious improvement in safety in our school zones. We would like to start this at McLaurin and at Natchez High School, both of which are located there on Sergeant Prentice. One school zone there at the high school ends right about the moment you're going to the bridge over Liberty Road. You get on up a little ways, and then the elementary school zone begins. And so let this be the first warning, because we're not issuing warnings. If you're speeding in a school zone, you're going to get a ticket. And so let this be the first warning to Facebook listeners, to listeners on the radio station. We'll put this out there. We expect this new technology to be literally in the hands of our police officers in the very near future. So get ready. We're going to post some signs up there that people know we're doing it, and tickets are about to be written, so slow down. Now, we know we got a grant last year, a $100,000 COPS grant, to allow us to pay overtime to police officers. We got new radars, one for every police officer, every car working these areas, and I think people are noticing it because I'm getting the phone calls. And let me just say this, if you want to call the mayor's office to get a ticket fixed, think again. You'll have to deal with the judge and the police. I'm not in that business of fixing
You mean
tickets.
You used to provide that service?
Never have provided that service.
Okay.
May I say that?
Oh, okay.
And this goes back to my days when I was mayor of Crystal Springs. A dear friend of mine who had helped me get elected, I had only been in office a week or two, and he was calling in a favor, and I had to tell him no. That was hard to do. But, we have to maintain safety in our city. Now, I know there are some extraordinary, extenuating circumstances, maybe, and that's why we have a judge, that's why we have a chief of police, and that's why these officers are sworn to make good decisions. So, there you go. I want to share something else. About 1 hour ago, I finished signing all of the checks for the claims docket. That those checks are being held right now in our office pending approval by the board tonight. The board every other week during our board meeting, the board actually approves a claims docket, and that claims docket, once it's approved, we send all these checks out. That stack of checks is always about an inch thick.
Wow.
And I sign every one. From the very moment I became mayor, I said no computerized signatures here. I want to see where the money's going, and that way we can track it. Just a little while ago, I was on the phone with city clerk. I'm signing this check. Here's the account. Tell me more about this. And then sometimes I'll pull the invoice. She'll bring it to me. We are watching the money, and this is why, because we are now 5 years in this administration, no new taxes, balanced budget. We had a meeting with our department directors just 2 weeks ago, and we said, okay, treat this money like it's your own checkbook, and how much would you pay for someone to paint your house, or someone to fix your clogged up sink, or how much you would pay for a part for your vehicle. You're spending this money, and just because it's government money doesn't mean we pay a higher rate, because at the end of the year there aren't going to be any more new taxes. People are being taxed enough. People in this post-COVID environment have inflation. We all see it at the gas pump. We all see it at the grocery store. We're not going to sock it to them in higher taxes. That's why we have not raised taxes in 5 years. And so the point being is that we are doing our best to live within our means like everybody else does, and to make sure that we take care of the business of the city. And it can be done. It can be done. we actually, over the last term, and now a few months into this term, we have managed to give raises. We have managed to get our police new cars, our fire department new vehicles, a new pumper truck. We've managed to give raises to public works. We now pay our law enforcement and firefighters more than any, or on par with all other jurisdictions in our region. In fact, more than the ones in our immediate area. We also are, for the 4th year, giving a substantial raise to public works, and I'm hoping that we will approve that tonight. That package, it's a $150,000 raise package. We are making such progress in getting our public works employees from where they were 4 years ago, going on 5 now, to where they are now. And we're doing that so that they can know they're appreciated, but also so that we can retain good employees and we can attract good employees. City's kind of like a business. You get what you pay for, right?
Very true.
I also want to say that in balancing the budget and in making sure that we can move forward now, the new budget year actually starts next week. October 1st will begin a new budget year for us. And so to stay in balance and to get all these things done is so important. And in our new budget, about a $45 million budget, do you know that 37% of that is the amount that comes from ad valorem taxes, car tags, our portion, the county gets a portion, sales tax, a small portion from a casino tax, we have the casino. 63% of the funds that we take in actually come from federal grants, state grants, all those trips we make to Jackson and to Washington. My wife Marla kids me. She says, you're shaking their hand with your right hand and you're picking their pocket with your left. But this is the thing, it's more for Natchez. Natchez deserves more, we say, and it's less that our taxpayers have to pay. We are grateful we're getting this done. We also have been able to, with the smart use of bonds and with smart money management and signing every check and knowing where that money goes, we've been able to, over the last several years, embark upon so many renovations. And in fact, I signed a lot of big checks today because we're renovating the convention center, the golf clubhouse. We're renovating the civic center, the auditorium. We are actually now looking at renovating more streets. For example, repaving Canal Street, repaving Homachita Street, repairing the Canal Street Bridge, and also we should break ground very soon on the drainage phase of the Morgantown Road Street Improvement Project. In order to do all of that within our means without raising taxes, we have to make tough decisions. There are some things we've had to say no to, and we also have to watch where every dollar goes. So I'm just wanting people to know that. I wrote an article this past weekend, some folks may have seen it, called The Government Rate. Used to, the government rate was the cheap rate, right? You're traveling, oh, give me the government rate. Well, what we've been joking about, but not really joking, is really sad. It seems like the government rate has become, well, hit them with 200% more.
Wow.
We bid a lot of projects. We've had to then go back and rebid. Inflation has been an enemy. I'm just so grateful that we're getting everything done. We're getting done in spite of those challenges. Got a couple announcements. Tomorrow, we will have a job fair at the convention center. A lot of employers lining up and jobs waiting to be had. We have had a fantastic job creation rate here in our county, in our region. And if you go on Indeed.com, you'll see hundreds of available jobs. We just need people to fill them. Every large employer in our city is hiring. The city of Natchez is hiring. We need police officers, firefighters. We have public works jobs, CDL positions that are available. Soon, these CDL positions in public works are going to be paying quite a bit more than they're paying today. People need to come out, help us get these jobs filled. Come to the convention center tomorrow from 9 to 1 and get a job.
I got a question. What's a CDL position?
That is a commercial driver's license position.
Okay.
We have several that require a commercial driver's license.
Okay.
Not only in our public works department, but also in Natchez Transit.
Okay.
So, Mr. Leon, I feel like someone plugged me in. I'm talking so fast here, but I'm trying to get it all in. But good question. I want to also say that I want people to mark their calendars for October 11th. I know this is a hard date for some. It's the same night as Natchez Homecoming. But the Natchez Festival of Music is having a Pink Panther concert celebration of Henry Mancini's 100th birthday. And all ticket sales, 100% of the ticket sales, are going to the American Cancer Society. In fact, we are about to be in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm excited that Saturday morning I will be at Monica's Walk. A shout out to this wonderful event that is held every Saturday, last Saturday of September, leading into Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will be out there with our good friend Monica Smith. Monica is a breast cancer survivor and started this walk several years ago. So ask people to join us this Saturday at 9 a.m. for Monica's Hope. And then following that, again, on October 11th, we will have the event at the Civic Center for the Pink Panther. And a lot of fun. The Sam Bruton Jazz Ensemble is playing, and we'll be raising money to fight cancer. I want to share a couple other things. Tonight we are actually going to approve one last expenditure, and that is part of our Brownfields Coalition grant that we got 4 years ago, $500,000 grant. We're about to finish out that grant, and it's going to be spent on an asbestos survey that will be done in conjunction to the old Fry building, getting ready for a project that we want to do there in sync with the Eola Hotel. This Brownfields grant has allowed us to clear sites throughout our city for industrial and economic development at the industrial park, all throughout the city. We are now waiting, hopefully, to get another grant and to start a cycle all over again, because we have a lot of sites that once they're environmentally cleared, we can have more development take place.
Okay.
Also, I want to say that we are still working on cleaning illegal dump sites, erosion projects. I know we're almost out of time, but also just need to say we'll have some good updates from departments tonight, including our IT department, Natchez Transit. We also tonight are going to, as I said, be approving that claims docket and hopefully approving some raises for our public works and a few other positions. Am I out of time?
Yes, you are. Don't pay attention to that clock.
I won't. That clock's a little slow. That's on. That must be on Dan Gibson time. I'm always about 5 minutes late, seems like. I want to thank you. Thank you, Natchez. God bless you. And thank you for all the listeners out there.
Well, thank you, Mayor.